Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Backstage Pass. I am your host, Vince Edwards. You may know me from Sound Image Productions. I also have a couple closed roadie groups on Facebook, one called Death by Loadout and another one called The Backstage Pass. Come check us out. Tonight with me is my one and only dear good friend and co-host, Kyle Thomas. How are you tonight, sir?
Great, man. Another day, another dog biscuit.
Yeah, we got that. We got a whole pallet of them now because we just can't have that run out. We know you're food motivated, so that's we're keeping that right.
Tina the Tapeworm's going to be very happy with you, Vinny.
I told you, I made a promise on this very show that Tina the Tapeworm would not go hungry while we were together as a team.
Thank
so
God.
Don't worry, I got Tina covered in there.
Well, I just want to thank Mark J. Hedricks
Mark J. Hedrick?
Last week's show.
It was wonderful.
Absolutely amazing. I think we're going to have the second one booked June 17th.
We are going to have to. Mark J. Hedrick's 40 years in the game. And some folks that we know, the Greg Prices of the world, held our guest tonight, have just had such huge, incredible careers. It's almost impossible to write a show that I can get it all in one show.
Certainly.
And Mark is one of those guys.
He was full of stories. Oh my God.
Well, he's one thing about him. Not only has he done a million things and worked for everybody, but he's also got a mind like a steel trap. So he remembers names. I mean, if we were doing the name drop-o-meter, it would have blown into pieces.
Yeah, right.
Because I think we must have listed 40, 50 people that he's worked with, and most of us know who these people are. And so it was very cool. And he's one of those guys who's very grateful for how he got here, and he knows it wasn't by himself. Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, it was great to have him. We'll have him back, like you said, June 17th, to do a kind of a. I only got through half my questions.
I don't even
have to write that show. I was ready for it. I put a little post-it on it and return to this on the 17th, and we'll just pick it up where we left off and go from there.
I can't wait, man.
Yeah, it'll be good.
I also want to congratulate Noah the Beard Tanner. I guess he's out with a band or a group called Signal to Noise.
He's doing the Florida tour scene. He's going to hit. Florida's got their laws have pretty much more or less the whole time been wide open, so it allows for him to pretty much take that tour. He's out of Boston, and he's very good at what he does. So I think the band's called Signal to Noise, hard rock band, I believe. And he's out doing his thing with them and hitting all the hot spots in Florida right now. So, yeah, good for him. I know it was hard for him. I don't know if you saw those posts he was putting up. His wife had put the babies inside his to-go case, in his belly. It was very cute stuff.
Sad.
Yeah. Well, he's got a new baby. He's got two other young children, 3 children total. So it was very sweet. And I'm sure they miss Papa right now, and I know for sure he misses them. But he's out doing what he's supposed to do, which is provide for his family and, get that work done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so congratulations to him. We're glad to see people out working.
Yeah, and I want to give our normal shout-outs to Pat O'Doul, Mr. Cheney,
Yeah.
Steve Orgain and his lovely wife,
Yeah, she's great.
John Del Rio, Sean Dame, Jack, and of course your lovely Jackie. Got to say hi to Jackie.
My girl, Jackie. Love of my life.
Got to say hello to Susie Dugan, my lovely woman. Nancy Diaz, thank you for chiming up on our groups lately.
Nancy Diaz is when something jumps off with the Anya or anything EAW, you go to Nancy Diaz.
That's the girl.
Yeah.
Steve Folk, thank you for watching.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Fletcher, Gordon Taylor, and Tony Biancalana.
Dear friends and a bunch of loyal audience members that we dig a whole bunch, and so we're lucky to have them. Tonight, let's just be honest about it. So tonight we're doing something in a little bit in advance. That's why we thanked you guys, because hopefully you'll be watching tomorrow and we'll be answering your questions. So it's Wednesday here in the shop, and my guest tonight is an extraordinary fellow that he's one of the most sought after videographers in the game. So he's actually filming. And so we're filming this a little light. He's been filming all day, and he's filming tomorrow, which would be the show day.
That's right.
So we were like, we just want you. We just want to have you in here. So
we'll do it a day early.
Yeah. So we really got lucky with him squeezing between what is his already very full schedule and coming and spending an hour with us and the audience to share his experiences, which are friggin' crazy. Like really, he's really the videographer to the big gig shit.
Well, hey, before you get to that,
What
I
you
got a gift from Mr. Del Rio that you have to open.
Some from John Del Rio from Gallagher Staging.
I think we got him on Zoom right now. He stuck a nice little flag in it, and he wanted you to open it on the stage.
Hello, guys.
Hello, John Del Rio. That is very sweet of you, brother.
Here, let me hand this
Yeah,
off.
no worries.
He's the boss of the Northern California division of Gallagher Staging, and he got us a cool little gift. Check that out. Very sweet. Am I to open this right now, baby?
Yes, sir. You may need some heavy equipment to open it. Just
I'd
FYI.
say I probably have some things laying around I could employ to make this happen.
Yeah, anytime when I could get you to pull out your knife on air, you know. And
Was that the larger intention?
Yes, sir.
Knife play on TV. I like the flag trick. That's very nice. Let's stick that right here.
Right.
Thank you, baby. All right, let's get into this.
What did he get you?
I have no idea. Johnny's a bag of tricks. He could be anything. Oh, boy.
Oh, he's got a gaff.
All right, so
A gaff box.
now it's a black tap. Glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't make it hard on me or anything. I'm gonna probably cut my fucking own arm off. Oh, that's awesome. It's many layers of gaff to boot. Look at that. That's so good. You're just trying to get me to look like an idiot on.
Can you imagine the amount of airtime I'm wasting on this?
Yeah, this is awesome, dude. This is so good. This makes good TV right here. I tell you what. I'm in the know of good TV.
Oh, shit, now he figured it out.
Yeah.
You haven't used a tool like that in I don't know how long.
Since the last time. All right, you tricky bastard, you. Oh, my God. This thing is a gift that will not share its secrets. I'm going in. I know you're doing this just to have fun with me. All right, I see a box with numbers on it now, Johnny. I think I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah, you are.
What do we got here, baby? Explain to me.
Pull off the cap.
Oh, dude.
So let me see it.
Dude,
You gotta pull off the cap on the side, right?
Yeah.
Now stamp that thing. Bam!
What? Dude, that rules. You got me a Beyond the Backstage pass with my ugly face on it. Stamper. You're the best, John Del Rio. That's why I love you, man. You're always thinking outside the box.
Crap about the face or the artwork. They thought it was brilliant.
I thought you did great. Whoever did this did a great job. You did good. Turned out really good, John.
Total badass.
Yeah, that's cool as fuck.
More things he can stamp his face on. Just what we needed.
I just figured, it's a good little plug thing,
That is really great, Johnny.
You're
Thank
the
you, my
best.
love.
You carry it around in your back pocket. You go into a deli or something. Bam.
What, bam? No, you're not wrong. This thing's going to be employed routinely over and over. This is very sweet of you. I love you, John. Thank you. And thanks, Gallagher Staging, for, backing our play and all the good that you do for us. We very much appreciate you and Joey and Joseph. And I guess he prefers Joe. But, sending love to the kids. Thank you very much. This is very kind of you.
Anytime. It was really, really a pleasure to do that with you.
You're the best, man. You're going to be around before you go off to Hawaii? You going to come by the shop?
Absolutely.
I'd love to see you. Let's coordinate that, and we can hang out and maybe do lunch.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, John Joe. We love you, baby.
Enjoy the show.
Okay, well, that was freaking cool. Thank you again, Johnny, for that. You're the best. Very cool.
Yeah, nice.
There's only one John Del Rio, and he's a brother from another mother, and we love him. And so, yay. Thank you, buddy. I'm gonna staple this on everything I've got. Watch out. Next time I see you, it's going on your forehead. We appreciate you very much. We got such a full show tonight. Like I said, I've got Joe Victoria on this evening, and his career is crazy. So I'm going to jump right to it, man.
Please do.
All right, my brother. Very cool. This evening, kids, we're very lucky here at the show. I say that quite a bit because we're lucky pretty regularly. And tonight is absolutely no exception. I have a dear, dear man, a friend to Sound Image, a friend to rock and roll, really. He's been in the game for forever, and he's worked with some of the greats. He's straight out of was a cameraman, actually. He started out in the film and TV industry. He moved on to shooting video for Mariah Carey, Madonna on multiple tours, Aerosmith, Metallica, Coldplay. I mean, the list is so long. I'm just going to name a few. When the big shows go out, the shit's got to happen. We're talking Beyonce, Jay-Z, we're talking the big shit here. They call this man and his partner in crime, who's actually off to the set about 20 feet over here, which is John Fukushima, a dear, dear brother and brother. And you've seen him. He's also been on the show. They do the big shows. He's here with us tonight to share some of his experiences and memories. And I'd love to welcome to the show. It's the wonderful one and only Joe Victoria. How are you, my brother?
Vince,
So good
Kyle,
to see you,
thanks
man.
for having me out.
I really,
man.
I can't say this enough.
Happy
You're
to be
one of
here.
the people I love the most.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for
Aloha.
for squeezing in your, I know how busy you are, and you made this happen in short order, and I very, very much appreciate it.
I appreciate being here.
Yes, sir.
Love hanging out with you guys.
Well, you're a treat every time. Now, I have to start with a place because it's sad news, and please understand our heart is with you. I know this is a little bit of a downer, but you lost your mother recently.
Yeah.
She was a lovely, beautiful woman.
3 weeks today, yeah.
Oh, my
And
brother.
bless you.
I'm so
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, mom. There's no one like mom, and
yeah.
it's just heartbreaking. I mean, it's a cliche, but it's really true.
No. I remember calling you directly after it happened, and I could hear in your voice your heart was broken, and I can feel that, and I'm really sorry for your loss, my brother.
Thank you, man.
And
I
just
appreciate
know that here at Sound Image, or I would say the brotherhood and the brother and sisterhood of this industry is here for you in any way we can be.
Well, you know what? Honestly, it's true. I mean, we went, working together,
Yes, sir.
gigging together, we do grow really close. We are family. We are really family. I mean, we really have to take care of ourselves. I mean, obviously, with all the things that's been happening over the last year, I mean, we've all really tried to keep in contact, and so yeah, our bigger, they're not even coworkers; they're family.
They're family.
Yeah, and it's nice that things like Facebook and other means of media, we can keep in contact with our brothers and sisters while we're all separated.
Yes,
But
yes.
it's what keeps hope alive.
Well,
really.
there's no way you can travel around in those close quarters in buses and take these long tours and these international trips and not become close. I guess it's either kill each other or become close.
Right.
And usually we land in, and you're one of the more kind, affable, sweet guys in the game, especially for some of the responsibilities you take on. And somehow, again, I've never heard anybody ever have a bad word for you. You're just one of the easiest guys to get along in the game, and that's a rare thing to be able to say. I was gonna go through a couple of the standard questions, like how'd you get in the business. I think we already did that. You got in the business as a cameraman. I want to get to some meat and potato stuff here.
Well, actually, I
wanna
want to
share that
give
a little bit?
Well, I just want to
Give us
give
a little
Nocturne
background.
props for the Bay Area, because Nocturne, which was started by the members of Journey.
That was the next question.
Yeah, it was started by members of
Nocturne.
Journey, and
Sure,
I mean, I have
sure.
actually had checks signed by Neil Schoen,
Yeah.
but they are the pioneers. I had you watch that documentary
That
about
was great. Yeah,
taking a video out on the
Herbert,
road.
let's throw out his name there.
Herbert Herberts, yeah. But Paulie Becker. I mean, Paulie Becker and Bob Hartnett are responsible for why I'm here. They put me on my first tour, back in the day. And so those guys have started many a rock and roll career.
Yeah,
especially Paulie Becker.
Absolutely, kind of a legend in his own right.
Bow down to the man who and video in the rock and roll business or in the live entertainment business is has been always the last to the party, but now has become a part of the party.
It's pretty premier now. I know it was kind of an outgrowth of MTV.
That's what it was.
It was a logical step from MTV.
That's what it is.
But I take exception to what you just said. Now, I get what you're saying. I do. But you said that you got your career because of Paulie. But you got your career because you got an eye and you're really good at what you do and you're great and easy to work with.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. We have to be people first. Yeah.
You got your start,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
And that was coming from film and TV.
Right.
But what happened from that? Why didn't you not go back? Did you get the bug? Did you get the nomad
I
travel the world bug?
That's the thing. When you're a 20-something-year-old kid and you get an offer of a world
Wanderlust.
tour, and you're making,
It's a very different animal.
they get, the first time you find out about per diem,
Oh boy. They give
it's
you
like-
money every day.
money every day. They feed you.
That's right.
They give you a hotel. They swag you so you're clothed
That's
too.
right, yeah.
And then you have to go to these really exotic, cool places and meet people.
Exactly.
And have it's like the world truly is your oyster. Actually, if it wasn't for this business, I don't think I would have been. I mean, that's the gift, and I think that's why a lot of people want to be in this business, because that's one of the gifts. You get to go places that you'll never think of going. Say if I worked at the post office,
Right.
or say if I worked at a 9-to-5 job, you're not going to be able to go to Moscow 3 or 4 times, Brazil or Thailand. It's just not going to happen unless you spend a bunch of money. So it's a great way for people to get, and that's why we do get that traveling bug.
Absolutely.
And so it's fortunate
It gets
for
in
all
your
of
blood.
us.
It's a little bit of a nomad thing. You
It
just
is,
want
it
to keep
is.
going and seeing. Well,
is.
but you mentioned Moscow.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been in the game for a long time. I mean, I've had a lot of folks on the show, a lot of very accomplished, incredibly accredited, amazing people. Not many of them can say they toured Madonna 3 times, did 3 Madonna World Tours, and one of them took you to, with Chris Lamb, who's an extraordinary production
Chris
manager.
Lamb, yep.
He's
To
kind
Moscow.
of a badass in his own right.
Yeah, yeah.
And you did some work in Moscow of many, many places, but talk to us about that. Talk to us about the
And
Madonna
actually,
times.
I just want to let you know, I think Benny was on that tour too.
Benny Collins.
Benny Collins.
Benny.
So Benny was there.
Benny,
And,
stage
Madonna
man.
fell in love with Benny the first time.
Impossible
I
not
got,
to.
because,
Yeah,
Benny,
yeah.
first of all, Benny, we have to sit through at least 2 Michael Jackson stories before But yeah, no, it was interesting. So, I mean, could you imagine Chris Lamb dealing with the logistics of taking, I think at the time it was like 100-something trucks through Finland down into Moscow.
Insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, how do you do that? How do you not lose equipment? Who do you pay off? How do you know it's the right guy? And just dealing with things in Russia, that's the thing, it's like inherently in Russian business, they don't trust each other.
Oh, it's
and
a
then if
very
you're an
corrupt
outsider,
system. Yeah.
But it was crazy. We had more security,
Yeah.
be it, state police, military. I mean, we had more security.
police,
Yeah,
yes.
federal police,
Yeah.
shoulder to shoulder at the
right.
show.
Almost than the audience.
Than the audience.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was packed,
Well, the
this
thing
Moscow
is, they're
Stadium.
afraid something's going to go wrong, and that's going to go all around the world.
Right.
So they can't let that. They can't have any potential for risk or damage or failure because they think it will reflect bad on the whole of Russia.
This is true.
Yeah.
But it's a truly magical thing, because that was the first time Madonna's ever doing, and that was 2004, I think.
Sure.
And it's a magical thing, to have. It's just like McCartney playing the Red Square. We played Moscow Stadium, and it was just great. It was.
That's been amazing.
It's amazing.
What time
I've been
of year
blessed.
were you down there?
I'm sorry.
What time of year?
It was probably summer. It was the summer run.
Okay, cool.
It was
'cause the winters
European.
were brutal there.
Yeah. We also played St. Petersburg, which was awesome.
Oh, beautiful
Yeah, and they
place.
just built their newly little it was a arena. So, but yeah, playing Moscow Stadium, having it sold out, and I think we did a couple nights. It was pretty, it's pretty cool. And I got to go back with Mariah. I got to go back with Metallica. I played
You're
Moscow
jumping around.
twice.
You're getting ahead now. Hang on, hang on. Hang on. You mentioned Mariah Carey. Talk to us about your experiences with Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
you were dealing with her during the height of her career.
Well, it wasn't really at the height. It was actually when she was starting
still?
to fall.
No way.
Well, no offense, Mariah, but this was 2003.
Nobody stays at the top forever. So she's with Tony Mottola. She's got this Sonny
Well, she
Badger.
just broke up with Mottola.
Oh.
Yeah, and so it was
She's
like
trying to get her feet out there and
the
be on
charm.
the road.
Yeah, it was the Charm Bracelet tour. So she had a little bit of a breakdown, but it was awesome. It was a world tour. We went to Japan, we went to Korea, we went to Moscow. You played Paris. So she's an icon.
Oh, yeah.
So wherever we went, again, when you work with these icons, it's just incredible. It's like the first time. Well, it was like the only time, but I worked with Tina Turner, and you're just like, oh my gosh. To see Tina Turner, this was before her last tour. I think it was a 24/7 tour. It was the Millennium. So it was the 99, 2000 Millennium. So we were in Vegas, and she played. We shot her for Dick Clark when she opened for with Elton John.
Oh, sure.
So we shot her at the Thomas and
Extraordinary
Mack for that concert, and then we shot her again for Caesars for a private show for the bigwigs.
Wow.
And it was just incredible working with her because you're like, she was teaching these young, Swiss dancers, these 20-year-olds, how to move and how to have soul.
That woman is frenetic, man.
Oh.
It's insane.
So yeah, I mean, really.
Yeah.
In the presence of greatness. I mean, I'm
I've
truly
actually
blessed.
worked with Tina. I actually
She's
worked as a
amazing.
guitar tech to Jimmy Lyon.
Oh,
who was-
nice.
Yeah, so
Nice.
back closer to private dancer, a little post-private
Oh,
dancer,
wow,
but she was
nice.
still kind of,
Yeah,
going
she
out
hit
on
it,
that
yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
And phenomenal woman. I remember watching her stage right. Some of those moves, that stuff she would do was extraordinary. And at the time, I think she must have been 60 years old.
Yeah.
And she's laying to waste these 25-year-olds who are just trying to keep up.
Trying to keep up.
And
Yeah.
she's like, it was extraordinary. It was
yeah.
extraordinary.
Yeah, it was literally like seeing James Brown dance. It was the same thing. The same vibe.
That's a really great correlation.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Very much so. And although much nicer to the band
Yeah.
than James was, she was a, in some ways, we know that her experience with Mr. Ike Turner weren't always good.
No.
But one thing he definitely taught her was business and
Business.
showmanship.
She was business.
She's born into it. She's just a natural performer,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And
It's
she really brought her own.
It's
Extraordinary.
surreal to shoot her, and I was lucky enough to be handheld on stage with her, and it's just amazing the natural energy and
woman.
charisma.
That's right. That's
Beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
Amazing.
Born for the job.
Yeah,
You know, there's
yeah.
not. Elton comes off to me that way. We did him last. I guess it wasn't just last year. I guess it was the end of 19.
Yeah.
And we did a batch of shows with him for this peak system. And he's up there. He's 74, and me and my chick are there, and I'm thinking, my God.
Yeah.
First of all,
rocks.
he does 2.5 hours of every. You know all the lyrics to every song. Now, who's got a catalog like that?
Right.
And he's killing it down there.
Yes.
Him, Ray Cooper, everybody's.
Yeah.
The band's an extraordinary bunch of hired, just killer. It was extraordinary.
Yeah.
We've been very lucky to work with some amazing bands.
Yeah, no.
And with that said, let's go to one of the biggest bands in the world. Let's be fair about that. As it relates to putting asses in seats and kind of having a universal approach to really and the respect for the audience, because these guys bring a big goddamn show.
Yeah.
And I bet it's fun for you as a videographer, and that's working for Metallica. And I know you've done a bunch of work with them. How's that?
I've been lucky. I was with them 2007, and that was Pat Paulson was the director. So and it's so funny because Mark Springo used to be their production manager, and he used to tell me, and it's true. I mean, I'm not going to quote Mark directly, but Metallica really didn't appreciate video back in the early days.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was a necessary evil for them.
Yeah.
But once they embraced it,
Man, they went all in, didn't they? Both.
well, that's the thing. I mean, that's the whole thing about video in the rock and roll world is it made your audiences bigger,
Sure.
where you can bring more people and they still feel the connection because they see it. It's funny. It's just like going to a basketball game and you have the big jumbo screens. You could be at courtside, but you'll see people looking up at the screen.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll see guys front row center at a concert and they're still looking at the screens.
Well, do you think there's something? Have you ever noticed the other one? I know you've noticed this, the phone thing that happens. So
Yeah.
a lot of folks will be watching. I've stood in front of house in some of the big shows and watched folks watching it from. I think there's been a transition in the use from the last 20, 30 years where watching through an appliance, it could be a LED wall, it could be what you're projecting, what you're capturing and sending out.
Yeah.
It's now more of a norm. Back in the day when we were coming up, there was no way.
Well, it
As
was
a matter of
about the
fact, the
music,
video, like you said, was almost incidental.
Yeah, it was.
You didn't have that. You were trying to view in on the band and try to get as much of that as you can. And now it's kind of switched over a little bit.
Yeah, anybody that's holding up a phone, I mean, yes, you want to capture it because it's a very magical moment.
Well, they tend to be
Live.
capturing, but viewing the phone as well.
Yeah.
So they're like,
Yeah.
I guess that's making
So,
sure they get in the shot or something.
It's a hard
but-
thing. I mean, I would feel disconnected.
Absolutely.
Right, there is
Absolutely.
you're there. You paid money.
Yeah, a shitload of money.
Concert tickets, especially the concerts I do, they're not cheap.
No.
and
No, they're
if
not.
you're close enough to videotape an artist, I mean, you're paying $500 plus. But that's the thing. It's like they want to, you want to keep it for prosperity, or do you want to feel it? I mean, and this is the thing we're missing, right, for the last year.
Yeah.
Is this live? So when the live comes back,
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot. Hopefully, there's going to be. There's a great meme. I think it's a cartoon meme. It's like, well, I promised at a concert, I promise not to talk. If you bring live music back, I promise not to talk, and I promise not to look at my cell phone.
Yeah.
It's a thing because we take it for granted.
That's true.
But I think the world knows that they've taken live performance, live art for granted.
Yeah.
And hopefully there'll be more respect. But
Artists
it's the same
for granted.
Yeah, it's the
Let
same
alone
thing
us.
it's the same thing with a digital image. Like going to Ansel Adams, the frame was precious. He took a day to take one picture.
Yeah, that's right.
That emotion was precious. But now, photographers, even with a phone, this is how they take a picture. Brrr.
That's right. And then they delete out the ones that don't work.
Yeah, because
It's very
the
different.
frame isn't precious anymore.
Yeah, right.
They don't respect the image.
Well, and like you mentioned, like in Ansel Adams' situation, they were waiting on light, they were waiting on framing of the shot. I mean, there were so many things.
It was art.
It was art.
It was
Exactly.
art. It was art.
Exactly. And you can see that in his work. I mean, some of his shots are extraordinary. El Capitan.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the Yosemite stuff is
Yeah,
it's next level shit.
Tones, are crazy.
And it captures a moment forever.
Right, well,
And that's kind of a precious thing.
Well, going back to like we'll never see Tina Turner perform again. We'll never see Prince, you know, so if those are the magic moments for people that were lucky enough to see it. I mean, even younger artists, say like Nirvana, if you were lucky enough to see it. So that's great about live performance. And that's why people are so proud. I was there.
Yeah, me too.
I was there. And so that's what makes our industry great, because you were there for that specific magic. And like, say for instance, when I was out with Neil Young, he would do a song that he hasn't done for 10 years live, and people would just go absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that's right.
But just to have him sing even his greats live, everybody knows all the words.
That's right.
But to have him do it, same with the Stones, just to have him say those couple words that everybody knows, but it's just the magic. There's nothing replacing the magic of live performance, especially in rock and roll.
And that's one thing I guess we've got in our favor. You know, I think we've all worried to some degree about, you know, is this all going to survive? And then you have the live streaming and bands coming and approaching it that way. And I keep saying more than once on the show, okay, let them do that. Because you're not going to be able to replace. You can capture certain things, but you'll never replace that feeling of being there. That feeling of the subs hitting you, the big walls, you know, the incredible captured shots by professionals, the band crunching it down, giving it to you. There's that you just can't replace that any way, shape, or form without going to a concert.
Going to
I'm
a
sorry,
show.
It's not getting replaced.
It's not going to get a live stream. No matter how beautiful, no matter how much money you spend on it.
That's right.
First of all, just the sound alone.
Yeah.
Right, just the sound alone, you're not going to replace. You know, it's just like being here. Like, this is great. You know, I'd rather be here hanging out with you instead of watching it there. You know, you wish you could have everybody that loves this show being here because we could hang out and really feel each other. That's the thing. So it's nothing's replacing, you know, live performance. So I feel good about it, and it is going to be gangbusters. Yeah. You know, and again, there's just some acts. There's some acts that we really, I mean, talk about treasures, not even natural, world treasures. You know, bands like the Stones. Like, I mean, look, Van Halen's gone now. You'll never see an Eddie Van Halen solo.
That
and
just makes my heart hurt that you said that, because it's so true. And
it's true.
But think about that with Queen, and Queen's had this second life, but I don't know how you replace Freddie Mercury. Adam Lambert's very talented, but it's
you're lucky you get the Brian May solo, but you don't get the Freddie Mercury. No offense to the Queen now. No. But you know what I'm saying?
Well, and speaking of Queen, I know you did go out with Queen.
Yeah, with Paul Rogers.
The first incation after Freddie, which of course was Paul Rogers from Bad Company, which he's an extraordinary singer in his own right. But it may be a square peg in a round hole a little bit in that mix. Yeah. Because trying to emulate anything that Freddie had is very tricky.
And this is a conversation we would have. That, again, nothing against Paul Rogers. No. But who would have been great? I thought, you know what would have been awesome replacement? Annie Lennox.
I actually seen her play with
Annie Lennox or George Michael.
He also did.
Right.
He also did.
Or well, not. But it'd be really hard for Bowie. But could you imagine if Annie Lennox went out with Queen?
Both sang with Queen, the original band. I don't think they toured, but they did one.
But I mean, I'm talking about a tour. Could you imagine?
George would have killed that, I think.
Oh yeah, George would have.
Yeah, George would have murdered.
Yeah, he would have murdered it.
But
it was great.
In many ways, although I don't have a lot of other than slight history on Lambert, he does kind of, and I have seen I haven't seen them live with Lambert.
Right.
But they put out some live video for it. And I watched it just to kind of do my homework, really. And I was struck by how well he was received, first of all, how he, in some ways, was able to imbibe the Freddie Mercury-esque style, but still have his own thing. And so it was a pretty well-realized thing. I think you're not wrong, though. George Michael, because I actually seen George Michael perform with the Queen in a couple songs, was extraordinary, and that would have been something to see.
Yeah.
But we're lucky to have these things that you go out and capture, because some of these things just are timing out unnatural. You know, folks die, unfortunately. Yeah. Things happen. And if it wasn't for a guy like you capturing, and with your team out there capturing some of these amazing, great moments, many people would not have this ability to revisit these things and understand the greatness that is Queen. Right,
but it's true. I mean, like I said, we were a necessary evil. Now we're part of the show, the big rock and roll show. But now you can't have these big stadium arena shows without video. Yeah, it's just unheard of. I mean, could you imagine if? No. And it's really weird to say, but could you imagine if people really went to just listen to the music, and if there was no video screen there? It would be interesting to see the feedback. It's like, well, we didn't promise you that there had to be and you know, you know, I love video screens there, but could you imagine like having a show with really good music? I mean, that's what festivals were great for. But see, even festivals have IMAG, and that's the thing.
Now,
like working a bunch of festivals, like that was great for me. You know, because again, we're just providing IMAG. Again, we're making the audiences bigger, so people could still feel connected to the music. But you know, the music, especially at festivals, what I'm getting to is there are such great up-and-coming musicians at these festivals. Forget about the headliners. The headliners will draw anybody. But if you got to watch these great young bands coming up, like for instance, when I was at Coachella, I had I was lucky enough to shoot Greta Van Fleet.
Incredible.
I mean, you know, and it's like, oh my God. I mean, these guys, you know, and I'm really sad because they were supposed to, well, they hung on through 2 Metallica cancellations because they were supposed to open up twice already for us in South America, and it was going to be Greta Van Fleet opening for Metallica, which I was so looking forward to. So, you know, you never know. It still might happen. Oh, yeah, Greta Van Fleet and Metallica. Are you kidding me?
I think they get a little pissed off because they're so routinely often, you know, compared to the Led Zeppelin, you know, because their style is bang on. But what an extraordinary standalone band. They really kick ass.
I mean, you know, 20-year-olds paying homage to, you know, and not exactly copying.
No.
But
well, the kid can't help it. He sounds like Robert Plant. That's just
and
how it is.
even Plant loves them. I mean, more power to you. You know, we need live. You know, we need, you know, untracked. I don't know if it's tracked, but you know, unlooped.
Well, that's real rock
musicians.
and roll. You're saying actually no bells, no whistles, no buzzers. Actual guys playing instruments.
Yes.
That rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what Greta Van Fleet does.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what Volbeat does. There are some rock bands. That's what the Foos do. The Foo Fighters do. You know? We still have some of these, but we're, you know, I worry that in some ways that style of playing you know, leading with the instrumentation is kind of going the way of the dodo. So I really need to. You know, and for me, I'm all, you know, strings and drums, and so it would be tragic if we somehow didn't maintain our rock and roll.
Well, what really, speaking of rock and roll roots, so 2019 I was with Metallica for their European tour, and what warms my heart, and I think it warms a lot of people in rock and roll, is to see people bringing their kids and grandkids to shows. I mean, especially, you know, and this is the thing I think we take, I mean, for granted in America, because you notice it more when you're abroad, that it becomes like family affairs for a lot of people. Like you can go to any stadium for any show, be it Beyonce or Metallica or the Stones. These people, say Barcelona or Italy, they are having a party before the music starts.
That's right.
There are no fights. People are drinking, everyone's happy, you know, and I mean, we're talking about 60, 80,000 people in one place partying already without the music starting. They're not sitting there saying, entertain me. They're saying, this is fun, just being together, let alone before the music starts.
The communal vibe as well
but
as
seeing the kids
shared...
in those audiences, I mean, young kids on the shoulders.
That's right.
You know, that's you know, that's the future, and that's what makes, you know, like, you know, people, you know, bringing their kids to a Metallica concert. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's important to I think, inform through example. Best way to do it is that this music exists because if you turn on the radio or wherever other music is available, I guess in some forms of TV, you see a lot of the electronic stuff. So to see that these people are bringing the younger generation with them, and that there's these. And that's, you know, you see this at an Iron Maiden concert. You see this at Ozzy shows.
Yes.
You see these mixed. You see this at the Faux shows, you know, the Fighter shows, the FF. It's extraordinary, and it's because the music is that good. And it's something that can't be left behind. And there's a for me, it touches a certain note in my body, you know, as the omnidirectional waves kind of go through and move my lungs and my heart around, you know, I kind of need that. And so I'm glad to see that that's a thing and that you've noticed it as well.
Oh, yeah.
I know you don't just do the rock and roll thing. I mean, you're really well known for doing the rock and roll thing, but you've done some big sporting events as well. Am I mistaken in believing you did a Super Bowl?
So I did, yeah. So I did what we did was the show the night of the Super Bowl. It was Super Bowl night.
Gotcha.
So I work, yeah. So so it's basically the lead up. It's where where the teams meet. It's like the big press conference deal. So yeah, we did a thing for I guess it was CBS. Yeah, yeah, and we fly around with all the. It was LA when it was LA against the Patriots.
Oh, right.
So yeah, so it was Super Bowl Eve. It was a Super Bowl. So I didn't actually work the Super Bowl, but it was Super Bowl Eve. It was
Yeah, we had
Atlanta.
I think you just put up a good picture where you had the Heisman in your camera.
Yeah.
Super good.
Yeah. So the Heisman thing was it was for another thing. It was for a chain of restaurant. That was actually the Colts. Yeah, that's the Colts Super Bowl trophy.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so it was at the Colts restaurants. We were doing a bunch of commercials for this kind of like NFL restaurants.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, so they one of the things is like you could rent the room and they'll bring the trophy for you.
That's crazy.
So yeah,
That's nutty.
Yeah, so it's great. Yeah,
Not too many people get to put their hands on a Heisman trophy.
yeah. No, I have not put my hand on a Heisman, but yeah, the Super Bowl. I've been
what that
lucky
is?
enough
That's
to.
the Super Bowl
Yeah,
trophy.
I work a lot of sporting stuff. So like,
Yeah.
like I've got to do the because in the Bay Area we have great championship teams.
That's right, the
So
Warriors.
luckily I've got to work. When we did the parades for the Giants, we're like, the first time it was a great thing, and then all of a sudden like, oh my God, we're back here again at City Hall 2 years later, and then we're back again. We're like,
Right.
it feels strange. And it's the same with the Warriors. It's like, wow, we're spoiled in the
We've
Bay
been
Area.
very, very lucky. Yeah.
We're championship teams.
Yeah, no
so,
two
yeah.
ways about that.
Yeah, so-
I mentioned that John Fukushima, we call him Fuki around here, is your dear friend, and he goes deep into our family history. He's been known to show up for the occasional Thanksgiving type situation and hang out with the fam. How did you and John get together?
So I met John through a mutual friend, Joe Segarra. Hopefully Joe's watching this, which is an old roadie. He goes back to the Grateful Dead days.
Yeah.
And I think his claim to fame, he told me one time he used to do the oil shows at the Fillmore and Winterland.
Yeah.
So that was Joe's, before we started.
Projection oil
So
lighting.
so Joe was the engineer on Aerosmith when we were doing the world tours with Aerosmith. That was back in 2007. And actually Joe had a long career with Aerosmith, so he brought me on, and so I did a tour, maybe 2 tours with Joe, and we met John Fukushima. So John and Joe Segarra grew up together.
Oh, no kidding.
And so so then
Couldn't have a
we
better man in your corner.
yeah, and then so John Fuki started working with us, and I wanted to say hi. Actually, you mentioned his name, Tony Balenciaga. We used to work with Tony at the Fillmore. So me and Fuki and a couple other guys used to run the video department for the Fillmore for Live
great stuff.
Nation.
Great place.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Now, I'm not sure if I get his name. Tony Biancalana is what I call him. His name is just tricky. But he sat right there in that chair, and my God, the story.
Yeah. Well,
Some of
I
the
didn't know he was
stories
half
have are
Filipino,
so
first of all.
He's an extraordinary cat, man.
Yeah.
He's one of a kind.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's
I love him.
one of a kind. There
Yeah.
is literally nobody like him.
Yeah.
And we've got mad love for that guy.
Yeah.
He's an extraordinary man. And he's another guy I probably need to do 2 or 3, get it all out of him.
Oh, I'm sure he has stories.
We could just,
Tony has stories.
It's crazy.
Yeah, well, he had to put up with us for a couple of years. And we had a great little run at the Fillmore. So, yeah, that's where John got his video chops. And then
Sure.
we used to do a video for Steve Payne at the Shoreline. So we do the Bridge School all the time. And
Yeah, great gig.
all these different concerts, out there with Steve. But I go way back with Steve, because Steve used to, when he was at BGP.
Who, we talking about McFadden?
No, Steve Payne.
Oh, okay.
Steve Payne, he was in charge of video. He was with the BGP for a long time. So we do like Steve Miller at the Fillmore. I used to work with Steve on stuff like that. So
Classic gig.
yeah, just all these because that's the thing. We're lucky in the Bay Area. We have a rich history of music.
Oh, man.
Which is, again, it's kind of slowly disappearing, which is kind of sad because there's nowhere for musicians to live in the Bay Area.
That's a big part of it, but like you mentioned, the Fillmore. I mean, the history of the Fillmore or the Warfield. These are everybody's played these places. I mean, these are phenomenal world-class joints, and so we were lucky. I wonder how that's going to turn around. I know Tony's got a pretty good idea that everything's going to be okay, but the Fillmore's been dark for 14 months right now.
Yeah, and look, Slim's closed.
Yeah,
which is sad.
That was so weird when that happened.
Yeah. Hopefully they, it's such a beautiful little venue.
Yeah.
I really, the Slim, it was really interesting. The Slim's never really got its props. It could have been a great venue, but, You know, I think
I don't know how many.
bookers, I
I've
don't know
seen
what it was.
everybody on the way up and everybody on the way down seemed to stop at Slim's. You know,
Yeah.
Boz Skaggs had a hand.
Well, same
in
with the
that.
Fillmore, yeah,
and the
yeah.
Fillmore, and the same with the Warfare. But it was a stair step down from that. But it was a really great gig.
It's a great venue,
good venue and a lot of fun.
Well, 11th Street was great. You know, you had what was that? I don't know what that venue.
DNA Lounge.
DNA Lounge.
Yeah,
You'd
20
have-
Tank Breweries across the street.
Yeah, you'd have punk rock. Yeah.
What was Paradise? I think
Paradise Lounge?
DV8 was a nearby. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it was a kind of a you could kind of bar hop like
Well,
that.
see, we don't have any theater clubs like that anymore.
I know.
Same with Broadway. You know, with the Mobile High Gardens and
on Broadway,
yeah,
the
and
Stone,
the Stone, and what was
on
across?
and-
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you know, Wolfgangs.
Yep.
See, so all of those gigs.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, the music industry has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And it's really affected the way. I mean, honestly, right? Touring was just to support a record. It was to get sales.
That's right.
It
That's
wasn't
right.
now. You know, a lot
to
of
get
bands
paid.
that were mismanaged. The only way they're making money is from tours.
That's right. That's
Right, they're not making money from their
Downloads
libraries.
and-
Yeah, because
yeah.
a lot they don't even own a lot. I've
Unless
known
they sell
a lot of
something to
big
Apple or
bands that
something,
don't.
you know, and get a.
Yeah, they don't own their own music.
Yeah,
it's sad.
It's
you
rough.
know?
That is crazy
know?
that you mentioned that. I wanted to ask you about Mike. You throw up that photograph of John and Joe doing the big jump. You know, I don't know how many great photos I've seen of you doing the launch. Now, I don't know if you got like springs in your feet or how you always get that. Man, you get some of the greatest air in some of your photos. And
That's Copenhagen.
yeah. You know.
Well, you know what was great? So get this, my son, right? So we're at the Sportsman's Lodge.
Yes.
So we're working. I was working on a show. I don't know what show it was, but anyways, we were staying at Sportsman's Lodge, and my son makes friends with a couple of cute-looking girls that are hanging out the pool. At the time, my son was like 7 years old.
Oh, geez.
But he started, and they were like, "Oh, we love this kid," right? And they start playing with him, and who was there but the lead singer from the Eagles of Death Metal?
Oh, sure, Boots.
Boots, greatest guy, and he hangs out there all
Boots
the
is
time.
fucking phenomenal guy.
What a
Really
sweetheart!
sweet guy.
And this is
Yeah.
after Paris now.
Yeah. Oh, so
right?
his heart was broken.
Yeah,
He
but
saw
yeah.
some horrible shit.
But he was there
So we
hanging-
explained to the crowd. So
Yeah.
Paris was when so Eagles of
Sad.
Death Metal were playing in Paris one evening, and a terrorist attack took off in the Baklava. I can't pronounce it, but it starts with a B. It was a very famous joint in Paris.
Yeah.
And a guy came in and sprayed the audience with a machine gun and killed many people while Boots was on stage with his
Yeah.
band.
A merch guy.
Oh, my God,
And I
dude.
think was there someone that was
Many people,
Yeah,
a
but-
couple people from the band, and
Yeah.
then a bunch of audience members
Yeah,
died
yeah.
that evening. It
Yeah.
was a friggin' awful, horrible thing.
Horrible,
And I remember
horrible.
talking to Boots about this because I have a long relationship with him through Queens of the Stone Age and Josh Homme, and he was crying.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was bawling.
Yeah.
Like, this affected him deeply.
Yeah.
And I haven't really talked to him much since the fact, but this really hurt him.
Oh yeah,
And
he's a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah,
So
it was
going
horrible
back to the
event.
jumps, I said, so this is what we do. Can we do a jump? So he did a jump with us.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Oh, that's very
So
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we do jumps around the world. Yeah, that was when we were in Brazil. It was great because nobody was up there, and I just took these are basically selfie pictures I take. It's all about the angles, kids. So you wonder about how we.
Yeah, because we always
yeah.
go, he's like 10 feet off the ground. How the hell is he doing that? He's got a little
It's the
tiger
angles.
in him. you know?
It's the angles. It's the angles. Yeah. So we
Yeah, you
have fun.
triggered us.
So yeah, I have jumps around the world, and it's great because we get I have pictures of entire my entire bus from when we were out with Beyonce. We would do jumps.
Everybody lunch?
Yeah, on the cruise. So I got
I don't
jumps
think
with
I've seen that
everybody.
photo. I got to see that one.
Yeah, so it's a fun thing, and it really it's just one of those things that you do, and it gives you something to do. So
Absolutely.
I try to do it everywhere I go.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I've seen a ton of them, and they're always fascinating, always thrilled. And I was like, yeah, you go. That last one, you standing in front of the Rolling Stone stage, with all the video walls up. It was
Yeah.
perfect. I swear you were like stage level from the pit. It was amazing. Let's talk about the Rolling Stones. You know, few bands have been able to stay in the game 50 plus years and still come out and bring in, still put asses in seats.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would guess you could say them, U2. There's a few bands that are in that level of touring level where they really just, bring it. It's Rolling Stones. What's it like working for them?
It's amazing. I mean, that's the thing. Like kids, you gotta go. It's
Yeah.
the Stones.
Yeah.
I mean, but they've been rock and roll stars since the beginning. It's amazing.
Yeah,
The
64.
great thing is this is pinnacle. These are pinnacle people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Mick Jagger is pinnacle rock and roll, pinnacle of cool. Same
Well,
with
he
Keith.
puts in the work too. I mean, like he works out like a madman, so he can do that shit on stage. Yeah, that doesn't just happen. You know,
They come to rehearsals. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The very first day, Fuki's probably mentioned this too, because Fuki took over for me when I left. Is Keith Richards the very first day doesn't know, and Mick too. Mick was the first. They'll come down stage and shake everyone's hand.
Yeah.
They don't care who it is. Thanks, mate, for being here. My name is Mick.
Hi, Mick.
My name is
Oh,
Keith.
really? You're
Like
Mick,
really?
huh?
Like I wouldn't know. Shake it. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
And it was genuine.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had less people, right?
Yeah.
That weren't even qualified.
Sure.
You know, and so it was. It's just the acknowledgement.
Yeah.
I mean, just that acknowledgement that
Goes a long
you're
way
not
to-
just working for me. And there's many artists out there that think, I'm holier than thou because, you know.
And we've worked for him. We know this. We absolutely know this.
But just a little acknowledgement goes a long way, especially when
Really
you're
does.
on your 14th hour of a loadout.
Yeah.
You know, in the mud.
That's right.
Going to a back-to-back.
Yes, sir.
You're just going to do that a little bit more, you know. But that's the thing about crews, you know, working with amazing crews. You know, again, you're at that level, and you know, it's a trickle-down thing, you know, because I'm sorry, the production manager is, you know,
On the Stones?
no, on the Stones, yeah.
Shit, why am I?
He's, I
It's not
feel,
Opie.
Opie.
Yeah.
Opie.
Yeah.
I mean, while he was doing the Stones, he was doing Guns too. I mean, Opie's
fucking-
amazing.
he's Opie. I mean,
He's Opie, but that's the thing.
What can't he do?
But he trickles down.
I know.
These amazing production managers that I've been blessed to work with. You know, Chris Lamb and you know, Bill Leebody. You know, they're just amazing. You need, I mean, talk about, you know, heads of state or leaders, true leaders.
That's right.
You got to be cool because, I mean, you just have everything on your shoulders.
Yeah.
But if you trickle down and you get good people that you can trust, that know it's about the gig and care about their work, it just
Critically
trickles down. It comes all the way
For
down.
the success of the gig, it is so critically important. I always thought of it as kind of a recipe. You know, when you're building a crew for a giant enterprise like that, offering like that, it's like putting in the ingredients to a recipe.
Yes.
If you put in too much sugar in that cookie, that cookie is not going to be right. And it's getting the right people that you can trust, and so that's one less thing you have to worry about.
Yeah.
When you're a guy like Opie, or if you're, you know, Bobby Schneider, or some of
Yeah.
these guys that run these big ass shows,
Yeah.
you really need to be able to count on your crew, and the best way to do that is get the
Hire good
guys-
people.
That's right.
Right.
You know, we talked a little bit about this, the up and comers versus the old pros a minute
Yeah.
ago, and before we went on air. And this is a real thing, and I hope that's that they're not just the reputation, but the experience that comes with folks like ourselves, yourself in particular, and Fuki, is the time on the job. You just can't. There's no way to emulate that. You
No.
just got to be the guy that's done that and been in the
Not in live
situation.
performance touring.
Yeah.
You know, not live entertainment touring. No.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. You definitely wash out really quickly if you're a knucklehead. If you're not on time, if you're not doing
Well
your
said.
job, if you're not, you know, you're not going to last. It's what we call in the entertainment business a two-picture deal. You're first and last.
That's right.
Right?
Exactly.
You only get your first and last. So yeah, so you know, when you get to, you know, the bigger shows, obviously you're gonna have professionals. Right? You're gonna have guys that have done it
Yeah.
many times. And you aspire, you know, because you know, you're just a little part of this. You know, and you get to, that's the great thing. It's like I'm just a tourist. Like, you know, I was lucky enough to get, like, I never really, I mean, I listened to music, but I didn't really value music. I didn't really value live performance until I started working this business. You know, it's just like
kidding.
looking at an Ansel Adams picture. You don't value it until you understand what goes into it.
Sure.
And that's why we have this brotherhood, sisterhood of people that are on the road, because you understand, they understand what it's been like to be in the mud, in the rain, when the audience is gone and you're kicking empty beer cups and smashed hot dogs on the ground out of the way to pull out the cable out of the mud.
That's right.
And wind that sucker up, and you know that you have to put it back down the next day.
You're hoping that's a smash talk dog, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, you rely on other people
That's
to
right.
to get your back, to make sure you're doing your good job, and you have to do a good job to make sure that this icon that you're working with, or these musicians that command minimum of 60,000 people in their presence,
Yeah.
that the show doesn't go wrong. And when no one notices, that's when our job is the greatest.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's when you nailed it.
That's when you nailed it.
That's right.
But the moment something goes wrong,
All eyes on you. Well, here's a good example of this. Is a very, very precise, very perfection-based kind of organization, Beyonce.
Yeah.
Beyonce JC. I mean, first of all, she'll do a year in rehearsals just to get her show straight and go out with them. These are always going to be massive shows. What's it like working with Beyonce and Jay-Z?
yes. So yeah, it is.
What did you do? 11 countries, 48 shows?
Some crazy thing, yeah. We were everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's Beyonce. I mean,
It's
and
Queen Bee.
she could sell. I mean, we spent a month of rehearsals in Paris.
Yeah.
At the U Arena there. It's the
One
new
of those
arena.
good problems.
Yeah, and so
Right.
but to tell you the truth though, we spent a month, and during that time she's cutting an album, and so they're working on choreography. Now to tell you the truth, she wasn't on the stage all that much.
Really?
During that month of rehearsals, but this is what a professionalist she is. Comes first show, she's hitting every cue.
Oh,
She's
no
hitting
doubt about
every
it.
line
Yeah.
without being.
She's kind of flawless.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, again,
Yeah.
icon. It's amazing. We were fortunate enough to go to South Africa with her.
Oh, what was
I mean,
that
could you
like?
imagine? Yeah, Obama was there. Oprah was there. It was just amazing. We were celebrating. I think it was the 100th. It would have been the 100th anniversary of Nelson Mandela. It was called the Nelson Mandela 100. It was put on by World Citizen, but Beyonce was like the main. And it was just amazing to be in Johannesburg at the F&B Stadium where
That's historical shit right there.
historical.
That's right.
And again,
Yeah.
it
And that's
sends
a massive stadium.
massive stadium,
Yeah.
and actually it was cool because Opie was there the night before with guns, so we had to share a stage with guns the
Yeah.
next day.
Oh, I
I mean,
believe
it's
it.
just amazing.
Yeah.
Again, just the
Guns N' Roses people. That's what he's talking about.
But the logistics of getting all of this happening over the weekend, going from a Guns N'
Phenomenal.
Roses stage to a Beyonce stage, and it's just incredible. And having that a world broadcast at the
Crazy.
same time,
Crazy.
it's just
Bet you
incredible.
1 billion people watch that.
Yeah, it's just
And
incredible.
some of that was coming through your lens.
Yeah, which is fun.
Yeah, super fun, right?
Well, that's the thing. Again,
2 billion eyes, baby.
I'm lucky to be a tourist. Yeah, you're lucky to say,
stop.
wow, okay,
I've always dug your humility, but you're kind of a badass. Let's stop. Stop
you're a
it.
badass.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's just I've been blessed.
Yes,
We're
you
all
are.
blessed.
We are
we're
lucky
blessed
to have
people.
the problems that we have, I guess.
Yes,
I guess that's
yes.
one way to look at it.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier working with the great Aerosmith. Now, Aerosmith have had many incarnations. This is a band that don't die, and I came up with them in the early days, kind of when they were, it wasn't the early days. It wasn't Toys in the Attic. It was just post Toys in the Attic when they were kind of, fucking around with the periodic table a little bit, being a little naughty. They kind of didn't talk to each other too much. Everybody had their own bus, their own dressing room. What was it like? And I know you had some early time with him and some post time. Tell me about your
Yeah,
time
I
with
was really
Aerosmith.
fortunate. It was amazing. Steven Tyler is
Heavy
man.
cat.
He is a smart man.
Yeah, he's a trip.
He's
One of a kind.
True
legend.
He's a legend. He puts on this facade of just like happy-go-lucky Steven.
That's right.
But he is,
He's intense motherfucker,
a lot
isn't
of
he?
people have worked
Yeah.
with Steven and Aerosmith.
That's right.
And I know a lot of production managers and people have. And he could, all I can say is he keeps you on your toes.
Yes.
And he will call you out.
Oh boy.
He is a sharp guy. And it's some people think not maybe, but iconic. He is just a fun guy to work with. I mean, an Aerosmith show, is
He's
the energy.
He's
the
kind
energy.
of the Energizer Bunny. I always thought him as that way. This
Amazing.
He just keeps churning it out, And when they had Pump, I was so. I was kind of blown away when they came out with the album Pump and that tour went out, and it was like they were a whole new band. It was a whole new incarnation of them. But it was the work ethic was exactly get in there and do this, And they're a machine in many ways, and he is the circus master. I mean,
He really is.
He's an extraordinary dude.
He's a showman. He's a showman. He's
he was
true.
born rock star.
He's a
born
true
rock star.
professional. Yeah, he's a really, he's the sweetest guy.
Nice guy.
Again,
When you're doing your job, when
you're
everything's
doing your
going
job,
right.
but he will call you out if he
man.
doesn't.
Yeah.
But he's funny. It's like we were in Osaka. I'm walking down the street with Yoko from Rock Rock?
Sure, sure.
So me and Yoko were walking down the street, down, and 'cause we just come from dinner or whatever, and all of a sudden you see this like big crowd and all these people, and it's Steven Tyler, and you're like, what's going on there? It's like, Steven. It's like, hey, Steven. He's like, hey, Victoria, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to Rock Rock with Yoko. You want to go? Yeah, sure, let's go. So he brings all of these people, and for the true roadies that have been to the Rock Rock in Osaka, it's about the size of this.
Yeah.
This table.
It's a large phone booth.
Yeah, and if it's Aerosmith week in Osaka, and you bring Steven Tyler to Rock Rock, it was just mayhem.
Shut that city down.
Oh, dude, it just it was just the room exploded, and poor Steven, he couldn't stay there. He's like, I gotta
First of all,
go.
he's a foot taller than everybody around him, so there's no way to miss him.
But it was just incredible to have him come up into the Rock Rock.
Yeah,
that's the type of guy he is.
Exactly.
And just blow everyone's mind away. It's like, oh my God, Steven Tyler in the Rock Rock in Osaka.
And he can turn it on like that.
Oh, he always does.
Oh man, there's the show
I mean,
ready Steven, and
true performer.
yeah,
true performer.
I really believe he was born to be what he is. He just kind of sprung out of the cake like that.
The energy is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, Aerosmith. I mean, I've been lucky. I've been to work with bands that just have incredible energy, and that's why you feel so blessed to be working on these shows, because you get to feel this energy just come from them and come from the audience.
That's
I mean,
right.
again,
he feeds on that, I believe.
All good performers do.
Absolutely.
All good performers.
I've seen some kind of going into almost a closed-off space where they're just kind of doing their thing. I won't mention names, but some of the more cookie-cutter artists that have extraordinary success, but rock stars have a different thing. They really need that response, that call and response that happens with a good audience.
But they get it.
Yeah, and they get it because and then there's that thing, frontman thing where you to be able to work the audience, to draw off the audience. And that's an acquired skill in its own right.
Oh, totally.
And he's the master of it.
Yeah, he's great.
Really extraordinary.
He's great. Yeah.
Last time I saw you, and we have this in common. I think that's a silly statement. I think most of us in the game and have been in for a minute now have this in common. Last time I talked to you, you were having some back problems. Now, I live with this date. You don't remember this? How's your back?
Oh, my
I remember talking to you about it, and you were hurting in the chair, and I was worried about you because I live with this almost daily and have to be very mindful and careful to guard my back from continued injury.
I might have been doing like some Steadicam stuff where I hurt my back.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah. I mean, I really, since I don't do so much handheld anymore, it really has come back. And now with modern things like the Easy Rig, and it's made it easier. Good. But I really developed my back problems from working grip and lighting and motion picture, because we pull, heavy cable. It's just like rocking, being a lighting guy. You got all these heavy instruments that you're constantly lifting, so your back gets taxed. And then if you have to do handheld too in the pit, because it's always like this. I had a C5, but no, it's great now.
You guys get into some interesting positions too. I've watched Fook come in here and do his magic, and it's like, wow, how's he going to get up from there?
Anything for the backlight.
You goddamn soldiers said nothing to keep him down. I won't lie, but outside the frame and watching him, thinking I could go over there and help my buddy, but it's got this, back off, young one. And so there's a certain soldier quality to your job.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, how much do you have to coordinate with lighting departments as it relates to these big shows, so you can get the shots you want to get, but they can put the show on they want to put on?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, most of the shows I've worked on are very choreographed. I mean, if anything, we have maybe problem with the spots being too hot sometimes.
Sure.
But they are, the LD really talks, we have really great video directors that,
I would imagine.
That really, they know, when video is, integral to the show, especially, like the Madonna shows we work with, they're very choreographed.
Oh, man.
I mean, they're like shooting Broadway shows, especially when you have stunts involved. I mean, we've had stunts where they had, one-to-one pull ratio guys from Hollywood, when Kung Fu was really big, and she'd fly off the stage and you're doing all of this. And so, lighting. So, I mean, it comes to choreographing the shots with, really good video directors, which there's a lot of great ones in the business that you have to take time. I mean, that's where you get a month of rehearsals. I mean,
That's right.
that's the thing, rock and roll show. I mean, like even we work it out on the fly. Like say if it's an Aerosmith, right? Because it's not really rock and roll, and you never really can tell Steven Tyler where to go and where
That's
not to go.
probably not going to work.
Right?
Yeah. He's
Now,
going to do his thing.
Right. One of the greatest stories we've had,
Tell me.
and this is great, and I love to tell this story. We're at Slane Castle in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
This is Madonna at Slane Castle.
Yeah.
And guess who's opening for Madonna but Iggy Pop?
Oh,
Right.
shit.
Exactly. Right? So Iggy Pop is opening for Madonna.
Okay.
We're like, oh my God, this is awesome. So one of the things is we had this giant V ramp that went down, ego ramp, that went down into the audience. And one of the things was passed to Iggy. It's like, Iggy, we want to save that for Madonna.
Yeah,
we don't really
stay off the ego ramp.
Save off
You
the
ain't
ego
keeping
ramp.
Iggy up that
so,
ramp.
and it was Hydro at the time was the stage manager. When it was Hydro and Haji were the stage managers. So they were taxed by Chris to like, okay, let's block off the ego ramp with giant subwoofers to keep Iggy from going downstage.
Yeah, they knew better. They knew it was going to be hard to keep him off.
Exactly. So the moment, ladies and gentlemen, Iggy Pop. What does he do?
Up and over.
Whoa, up and over.
Iggy Pop.
And he's rocking
What he
out.
does.
Shocking.
You know, it was his birthday yesterday. We sent a
no
little
way.
message to him. It was his birthday
Awesome.
yesterday. Yeah. So that's funny.
And
And not surprising in the least.
No, not in
even
and-
kind of surprising.
Yeah, and it was just awesome.
Well, I bet your Hydro was pissed.
Oh, well, what can you know? Hydro, you
Hydro
know,
keep it together.
What can you do?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true. It's
it's,
Iggy
you
fucking
know,
Pop,
it's
right?
Iggy Pop. Like, you know, you're not going to stop
He was
Iggy
just
Pop.
being Iggy Pop.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, like,
You know,
no
he
way,
He
yeah.
really bust outside the norm there. That's Iggy Pop.
And it was just really just strange to see him in front of the castle rocking out.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, whoa. It's just like, you know, again, you're at a Madonna show and you have Iggy Pop. It was just awesome.
Right.
It was awesome.
Yeah, no, I
Awesome,
can only
awesome.
imagine that'd be a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, and these are the things we live for in live performance. Again,
That's right. That's right.
getting to see Iggy Pop perform live. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, the Queens
You know,
of Stone Age just
that's-
took him out and acted as his backing band.
No
So
way,
they put on matching suits, kind of
Nice.
the Beatles,
Yeah.
and they didn't do one Queens of, they didn't sing nothing. They just was his backing band out of pure respect for him. They picked him up in Miami, you know, out of his place, and
Yeah.
you know, he lived in the high rise there, and they collected him up, and they went and did all 48 states and dropped it a little bit into Canada and down into and let him, you know.
Yeah.
Be Iggy Pop, you know,
Yeah.
he's one of a kind, and he's touched a lot of lives. Let me ask you about Chris Martin and his gang with Coldplay. You know, they're very mindful about their footprint. I know that they refused going out on tour in 19 because a lot of their fans pointed out about the pollution footprint they would create doing the traveling with the buses and the coaches and the trucks and the planes.
Right.
And so you got to do it before, because I'm not sure they'll ever come back out.
Well, this is interesting. First of all, I want to give hello to people who know Ben Miles, or Ben Ferry was our video director, and he passed away actually last year. It was very sad. And it was a battle
We've
with
been losing
cancer.
a lot of great people.
Yeah, so
It's been a really
Ben,
tough year.
sweetheart of a gentleman, Ben was. And he was.
Not familiar with him.
Yeah, he was Chris Martin's. He was with Chris for 15, 20 years.
No kidding.
Yeah, he was literally part
So
of the
he
band.
came up through the yellow and all these
All
big
of that.
steps that
He
they
was
took,
there
because
yeah.
they really
Yeah.
went to top
yeah.
prominence.
So he's
and
one.
really
He was one of
killed
his
it.
guys. Yeah. So I was blessed enough to work with them in the tour. What was that? 2016, I think it was already. Their last
15,
tour.
16, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Sure.
A head full of dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically there were so many incarnations of the different the tour, and the tour went on forever. I mean, the tour was like, I think it was like a year, close to a
16
year and a
months,
half,
something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
And they went
Yeah.
everywhere in the world. So I did part Europe with them, and I did America with them, and again different incarnations of the tour, and that was because of Ben. I was there. You know, we were just trying to get different ways of capturing
Sure.
Chris on stage, but amazing again.
Extraordinary act.
Extraordinary.
Really great artist. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the thing about Coldplay is not that any other artists don't, but they really care about their audience and
Oh, man.
about the audience experience.
Yeah.
And they really bring it home.
Oh,
I
they
mean,
do.
it is a
Absolutely.
party. And again, it's one of those things, people bring friends and people bring kids, and you just feel like
Kind of
you're part.
universality to that band. You know, they cross through
Yes.
generations and
Yes.
genres.
And the music's
Yeah.
great. It's all
very
happy
accessible
music.
It's very
Yes.
accessible. There's
Yes.
a little bit of a message with it, but they don't ram it down your throat.
Thank you very much.
Johnny Greenwood's got extraordinary guitars. You know,
But if you
Chris
want a
Martin,
good feeling,
yeah.
And you know, it's hard not to tap your foot when you're at one of those shows.
It's almost impossible, really.
Impossible. And they're really into really nice, you know, pyro. I mean, it's a great show. It's a immersive show.
Yeah.
And so it's really great. I mean, it's just so much stuff is happening, and Chris is really, the music is really awesome. Yeah, and we were, in 2019, we're like, is it gonna happen? No, we don't want to do the footprint. So you don't know. Maybe, you know, hopefully
Well, I know
they
they
change
talked
their
about
minds.
it right up until
Yes.
the point where they started getting feedback and they started being more aware of this. And I know they already had an understanding of this, but at some point they just pulled back.
Yeah, but again, you
So
know,
we're going to honor our message and leave $200 million on the table because that's what they left. And that's what a, my God.
yeah, I mean, well,
damn.
you know, they you know, they're good world citizens, you know, and
That's
they
exactly what
want
I
to
said.
practice what they preach. More power to them.
Yes.
But again, there's nothing like a live performance.
I couldn't agree with you more.
You know, if you care about your fans, you want to, you know. But again, I understand about caring about the planet too.
Sure.
But you know, bringing happiness is just as important as
Well, it's a trade-off almost, you
yes.
know, the carbon footprint versus, you know, spreading joy and getting
Yeah.
that message out
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
they had a unique ability to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them sometime in the future if they can figure out a way to, you know.
Well, here's the thing with the carbon
vegetable oil and so on.
footprint is with the money you're making, you could
Buy
purchase-
carbon credits.
buy carbon credits.
That's right.
You know,
There's ways to get this done.
Have audience people buy carbon credits to say, okay,
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
That's good.
we're invested in this too.
I never thought of that. That is
Yeah.
very clever.
Yeah.
Given
Because it's different.
the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
That is very smart.
Yeah.
Joe, I think you might be onto something, my friend.
Yeah.
Because
No,
I
you
know they
could.
know the carbon credit thing they could do to
Yeah.
offset their footprint, but to have the audience also partake in it so they feel like it's a little bit of a community thing.
Well, that's the thing. And after COVID, after this year, the whole world needs a party, and they're just waiting. I mean, that's why people are chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I see the light at the tunnel. I want to party. And there's going to be these crazy parties when we finally get there.
I have a feeling you're
when
right.
we get there.
Yeah.
And so wouldn't a great Coldplay tour party, people would love it.
I can't think of a better ambassador actually to do that and come out in a positive way, come out and bring their special message and their special blend of kind of universal entertainment. That'd be actually a really
and
hell
if
of
you're a true
tour.
fan, okay, pay for your ticket and $2 towards my carbon footprint for the tour.
Yeah.
Then no one's feeling bad. And then I'm sure the band's gonna buy their credits,
Oh,
right?
guarantee that. Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah, I don't
You
think
know?
it's about the money for
You know,
them. Clearly, it's not about
That's the
money
thing.
for
It's
them.
like
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
it's a yin and yang.
It's an offset.
Yeah.
And what benefits would, you know, what is the good that they would be providing to the world?
Right.
You know, and a kind of, you know, let's be honest, there's been a little bit of a mental decline
Yeah.
in the general population because of, you know, the hardships that we've all endured in the last 14 years.
Yeah, their shows are so wholesome. You know, they're wholesome. It's
Yeah,
great for
that's
kids. You know, that's the best thing to see is little kids rocking out at any kind of show.
It's kind of
but
fun.
You know, kids won't be standing at all at a Coldplay show. And one of the greatest stories, and it was on the news, but it just again being there, we were in Dublin, and the fans in Dublin, you know, Irish fans are great.
They bring it.
But they lifted a guy in a wheelchair, and not just any wheelchair.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But a motorized wheelchair.
You know,
and
800 pounds or something.
And they
600
sent
pounds.
him all the way to the stage.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, if
awesome.
that doesn't
That
like
touched your
warm
heart.
your heart,
The
just to see
hairs
that, and
just
we
went
were,
up on my arms. I
we
know
were shooting
exactly
that
what you're talking
image,
about.
seeing a motorized wheelchair going across the crowd onto a stage. I mean, come on now.
That's priceless right there.
You can't beat that.
Priceless.
Yeah, those are priceless moments again, and you won't see that anywhere but live.
Well, let's, you know, your lips to God's ears that we hope that it all comes back the way
Yes.
we know how to do it, the way that we're
Yes.
prepared to do it.
Please,
You know,
yeah.
and I, first of all, you know, I went through it, but I can't let you get off the set without discussing the shirt. What's up with Star Wars and you, baby? I didn't
All right,
know.
so these are real shirts. These are circa 1977.
That's
But they're
badass
not
right there.
my bed sheets, but they are real 1970. And yeah, I had a.
Was that actually a bed sheet at one point?
It was a bed sheet at
that's
one point.
Too cool.
Yeah.
My chick would
So
do
it's-
something like that too.
Yeah.
She
So
could
yeah,
build
it's
anything. It really
it's,
turned out great. I mean, it was
Oh
very
yeah, I mean
well
yeah.
realized.
You see the Star Wars? It's like,
Yeah, no, it was really well realized.
Yeah, and
Whoever did that-
I had to support it for the show. This is one of my
That's very cool. You're a fan then.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, of course.
All
Well,
right.
again,
So,
being in the Bay Area,
4, 5, and 6 suck though. I mean, you'll agree with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, again, working in film and television in the Bay Area, I was lucky enough to go up to Kerner,
Yeah.
which was ILM, and I was
Sure.
lucky enough to go into the archives, and I was lucky enough to go up to Lucasfilm in Lucas Valley at the ranch. And actually, one of my claim to fame is I was the only guy to ever shoot a music video up at Lucas Ranch, because at the time Brad Paisley was doing his album up there, and this is the same time when they were doing the music for Cars, and he couldn't get away. So
The
Brad,
Pixar film Cars?
yeah. So John Lasseter was there too, because we shot him for that music video. But Brad asked George personally if he could do a music video while he was there cutting the album at Skywalker Sound.
Very
So
cool.
George gave us permission to shoot right there at Lucas Ranch. So we shot a Brad Paisley video at the ranch, which was kind
I
of cool.
swear to God, I could talk to you for hours. The crazy you've gotten up to.
Yeah, so I've gotten to see like the original. So going back to Star Wars, we used to supply post-production machines to Skywalker, to Sprocket Systems, which was their post-production facility.
Yeah.
And I got to know the facilities managers there, which is the guy who handled George's archives. I mean, like he would tell me about putting on Tuscan Raider outfits for Halloween. And, I mean, ILM's right there, and they're blowing up airplanes while you're there. It's just amazing.
Very
I mean,
cool.
yeah, really
Very
cool.
cool.
I never got to see George himself, but you feel the presence.
Oh, absolutely.
And I actually got to see like the original Yoda and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
the
pretty
ranch
cool.
is a spectacular place. I don't think many people ever get to see
Well,
it. But
if
man, if
you-
you get a chance,
If
go.
you're a rock star, you cut an album there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was an absolute pleasure, a treat. Thank you for cutting away and finding
pleasure.
time for us.
Yes.
I adore you. You're a dear friend, and thank
I
you,
love
my
you
brother.
guys.
We
Love
love you,
you.
baby. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing and coming on
Thanks.
the show. We really appreciate it. Thank
Aloha.
you, brother. You be good. Yeah, I was going to get into the Hawaiian connection. We just ran out of time. We went way over, but it was a pleasure.
My
And
pleasure,
thank you
sir.
for being here, Fuki. You know you're a brother, man. We appreciate
Brother
you, baby.
Fuki.
Good man. Thank you, guys. Hey, listen again. What the hell? What can I say? Joe Victoria, people. All right, you should pay me for this. I'm telling you. Then I give the money to him for being. But we were so lucky. Listen, next week we got. We'd like to. I don't know how you one up Joe Victoria. I don't think it's possible. But next week, hold on tight. I got a treat for you. Greg Price. That's great. Greg Price. He's one of the top 3 engineers. I would say he's one of the top, if not the top, mix engineers in the world. That's Black Sabbath. That's Ozzy Osbourne, Smashing Pumpkins, Van Halen, Rage Against the Machine. Almost every live show Rage Against the Machine ever did. That's Greg Price. He's going to come here. He's going to sit over there. He's going to tell us stories. We're going to get down. It should be a lot of fun. We do this every Thursday night at 7. We hope you tune in. Thank you for being here tonight. And, be good to each other. Be kind. We'll see you next week. Good night.